So I saw an Instagram post that really struck me and brought up a lot of latent memories for me. And this is what it said: F the mental health system. In my opinion, that's perfectly said. I've said before that swear words have a role in society. There are some things that cannot be said any other way. Let me tell you some of the things that she said. This is from soul.flower.sarah if you want to see it. Exactly 2 years ago, I was at the mercy of our current system. For those who don't know my story, I had a very complicated mental health breakdown, one that resulted in me being arrested, detained, and held at a mental hospital, straitjacket and all. I was lied to unexpectedly, grabbed and thrown into the back of a cop car, tackled, threatened with a taser, silenced, had my rights stripped, and of course, treated like a criminal. This has been my experience as well with the mental health system and with the current medical doctors. I had a childhood friend commit suicide after being treated like this. You know, she had her own mental issues, none of which were her fault, in my opinion. And she was told, would you please just submit to go to the mental health institution? They can help you. They're here for you. She did, finally. She was very resistant to it. I think that was probably her intuition, and her intuition was probably right. Because when they got her, they dehumanized her. They took away everything she loved. The biggest one was they took away her iPod because they said that she could use her strings to strangle herself or hang herself. And so she got to languish in a bare room with bare walls. And at the end they said, we can't do anything for you, sorry. And her reaction was, see, I'm so broken, I'm so awful, even the doctors can't help me. And her mother thinks that that was a tipping point. I'm infuriated with the medical industry as a whole. They treat people like criminals, and you can see this on a grand worldwide scale right now. They treat everyone by default as a death-breathing potential carrier. And this is not something that's new. This has been developing over years, if not decades. I experienced it when I gave birth. So after I gave birth, I got ill, because if you've ever given birth at a hospital, you might know they treat you like dirt. They wake you up every 2 hours. They tell you you have to follow protocol, and they threaten death with you. They threaten that if you're not doing what they say, your baby will die. I was told that if I didn't wake up my perfectly sleeping baby, now this was my third child too, I was an experienced mother, that his insulin sugar levels would go all crazy and he would have some type of cardiac arrest and he would die. My perfectly sleeping baby right there. I had words for that nurse that I probably cannot repeat here because it would probably be taken down for hate speech. But they don't give you any sleep, they don't nurture you, they treat you, and the main reason why babies used to be separated from mothers was fear of infectious disease. It took a Herculean effort to help babies actually be with mothers upon birth, and they still don't really do it. They say they do, but they don't really. Anyway, after I gave birth to my second child, I got ill. And I called up my gynecologist. I said, look, I'm really ill. Can you just prescribe me something, because I don't have a doctor right now. And I got told, yeah, I'll do that, but don't come into the office. This hurt me like no other. I didn't even ask to come into the office, and I got told don't come in, because I might have transmitted my disease to all the patients there. I was extremely hurt by this, and then I told another person of this, and they said, well, they're right. It's like I was treated essentially like a criminal for being ill. Now, this was the same doctor's office that I miscarried at, which happened before my first child. They told me to come in. I was in writhing pain, and they told me to come in instead of go to the emergency room, and then they made me wait. I went into the bathroom. I was on the floor, rolling around on the floor. I was just in that much pain. I threw up. Then they decided to have a vaginal ultrasound on me. They stuck something up my vagina while I was having a miscarriage. I can't even begin to tell you how much pain that was. And then they got mad at me because they couldn't get a good reading on the ultrasound. And further, they were showing that there was no fetus. I mean, essentially that's what happened. A fetus never grew and my body expelled what was left over. So I miscarried into a toilet at their doctor's office. This super enlightened place that told me, stay home, we don't want your germs. This has been a thing for decades now. And now, after over a year of lockdown, of denying children their hopes, denying them their last senior sports season, many of them are not going to their college of their choice because they refuse this vaccine. Mental health, mental illness is up, suicides are up, drug use is up, domestic violence is up. Where are the psychologists? Where are they? Where are the pastors? Where are any of them? You know what they're doing? They're saying, oh, your mental health is bad. You should come into the office. Mental illness has gone up double. You should come in. Why aren't they defending them? Because you know what people need? They need hope. They need freedom. They need joy. They need to be treated like a freaking human. And so I call them the medical cartel now. A lot of people do because I'm just that disgusted with them. They don't know what they're doing. Frankly, I asked a doctor once, I had an ovarian cyst, and I said, how will this affect my fertility? And she looked at me, she looked like she was a 5-year-old handed a clipboard, and she said, well, you're 35 anyway, so your fertility isn't going to be good anyway. That's bullcrap. It's 35, really. You know, we might have that perception because we treat women's health so terribly that their reproductive health tanks way before it should. Women should be able to have children well into their 40s. So this is what I'm asking people to do. I'm asking you to be the healer. I'm asking you to go to the sick. I'm asking you to go to children. Psychologists want you to come into their office, their sanitized room where they charge you an hourly rate. They kick you out after 60 minutes. Bare walls, maybe not totally bare, but away from life, where they give their spiel, whatever. They have their canned solutions. Most of their advice could be found easily in books. Now, I've read a lot of psychology books. I've read several dozen. They did help me. But to look at this mental health crisis and say you need to come into my office, to not stand up for people, to not stand up to even people who have incredibly bad medical not bad, but they have medical conditions that don't allow them to take vaccines, and they're not going to be allowed. They are roundly zero tolerance, not allowed to go into certain colleges, not allowed to go into restaurants. Do you not see the evil of this? Do you not see your cowardice in staying on the sidelines? I don't have respect for you. If you think you're going to save your job or your respect or anything by staying on the sidelines and staying quiet, that's not how it's going to be, because the movement is so very clearly growing. A lot of people see this, a lot of people are speaking up, and a lot of people are jumping the fence. They went from fight COVID to, wow, jamming this emergency authorized only product down people's throats is pretty evil, isn't it? We humans need each other. We need to be in quality communities, quality relationships. So the psychologists want children to come into their office. I'm telling you, go to children. By default, you should be there. We as a community should be there. You are responsible not just for your own children, but for other children as well. It's how we humans are designed. Run a little league. Run a board club meetup. Get some kids together, do an obstacle course. Teach them how to do some footballs, play catch, whatever it is. I'm asking you to be the answer. I want you to read books. I want you to heal your inner trauma. I want you to improve your health, and I want you to not give your blind trust to these people. They have, their white coats on and they have their degrees. You should see what they study at school and the hazing they get put through. There's no way that this system produces competent people. In fact, a lot of competent people who care would be very much repelled by the system that makes them stay up for 48, 72 hours, whatever it is. There are healers out there, and you're probably not going to find them in hospitals. That's the blunt truth. So, please, I'm asking you, you be the answer. You go to children. You think on your own. Don't just blindly obey. Thanks for watching.